Welcome back, Changemakers, to the closing session of TriPets. I'm your host, Haresh Ramchandani, past governor from Rotary District 7020 in the Northern Caribbean and the land of one love, my friends, Jamaica. So you've had a deeper dive into the inner workings of Rotary during PETS, from leadership and inspiration to our foundation, membership, public image, and our strategic plan, Rotary's action plan. We've looked at Rotaract and our youth programs, and then we went to diversity, equity, and inclusion in our organization. It is truly an exciting time to be Rotary. Now we have the pleasure to hear from the president-elect of Rotary International, Shekhar Mehta, who will be captaining the Rotary ship in 21-22 as we all serve to change lives. Now, just permit me to share a little bit in his introduction. And just as a reminder, we are using social media to share your thoughts, your energy, your excitement. And remember, the hashtag is Changemakers. And also the Q&A button right below on your Zoom screen. We're going to be using the Q&A for questions, and we want some interactions with chat. So if you see something really exciting, a great idea, feel free to share that on chat. Feel free to share that on all your social channels. We want to get the excitement of Rotary and what we're going to be doing this year as change makers out there. So our leader, Shekhar, is the only fourth Indian to be nominated as president of Rotary International. He's an alumni of St. Xavier's College and holds a master's in commerce and is a qualified chartered and cost accountant. He's into real estate development in several parts of India. So for all of you real estate professionals out there, there's some commonality going on. He's been a member of many professional, cultural, and charitable organizations as well. I'm seeing here where he has been a trustee of Shelterbox UK, trustee of Operation Eyesight in India, which is a Canada-based organization. He joined the Rotary Club of Calcutta Mahanagar in 1985. So that's what, 36 years, I believe, 36 years. He went on to district governor in 1999 and 2000, and was elevated to the board of directors of Rotary International in 2011 to 2013. He's been a chair of several Rotary International committees. I'm seeing Joint Partnership Committee Chair, Strategic Planning Committee Chair, Rotary India Literacy Mission Chair, Rotary Foundation India, Rotary India Centennial Celebration Chair, Rotary India Humanity Foundation. And while he was director, my friends, he expanded Rotary in Bhutan and the Maldives. Yes, the Maldives, where those beautiful villas are right on the water. Need to put that on my bucket list too. He's been a dedicated Rotarian to service and has led many major service initiatives in India and in South Asia as well. So many, I'm just going to share a few of them to you. Hopefully you'll get inspired by some of them, make some notes maybe, and as you're looking to plan your year, you can take these thoughts into consideration. So some of the things he's done: constructed 500 homes for tsunami survivors in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. He started a shelter kit program in India. 75,000 disaster victims were impacted by that. He started Saving Little Hearts, a pediatric heart surgery program. And through this, he's done over 2,500 surgeries to children. I'm seeing children benefiting in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and several African countries as well. He conceptualized a nationwide program called TEACH, T-E-A-C-H, which is a literacy program in India, and having reached out to more than 50,000 schools, 15 million children. Wow. So this TEACH program is a holistic program on literacy, and Rotary is working on this program with the central government and the state government. And the program has been replicated in Nepal, in Pakistan, and maybe other countries in the not too distant future, maybe even perhaps with your help. He's taken this program and worked with it called e-learning, which is trying to get millions of children to learn through the television channels of the government of India. And he is the architect of the Rotary Total Literacy Program of India. He's helped set up more than 15 eye hospitals across India, serving nearly 50,000 eye operations a year. There's a scholarship program that he started called UDAN, UDAAN, which was for marginalized children. I'm seeing 10 years, 1,000 scholarships that have been given by his club. The president of India, Narendra Modi, did a national call and he responded and helped set up 6,000 rural toilets benefiting 30,000 people. He spearheaded an Indian-wide project in collaboration with the government of India in water, sanitation, literacy, healthcare, environment, and disaster management as well. And the results of this is what he calls Rotary's role in nation building in India. And the accolades are just pouring in, my friends. The Prime Minister of India and several cabinet ministers are applauding these mega initiatives. My friends, our president-elect is a motivational speaker. He's spoken at hundreds of events nationally and internationally. He's got great skill and has used that skill to help raise millions of dollars for the Rotary Foundation. So as you're planning your events in this coming year, you know that you have someone that you can turn to help you make that even more successful. Our president-elect is a recipient of some of the highest honors of Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation. I'm seeing Service Above Self Award, the Meritorious Service Award, the Distinguished Service Award. Friends, our president-elect Shekhar is married to Rashi. She's a social worker and a stage artist. She's performed in socially relevant plays across India. They have 2 kids, Chirag and Geeta, and they have a grandson, Veer. My friends, what an accomplished human being. Someone that I know will come and inspire you. So please put your virtual hands together. I know he can't hear you, but he will feel those positive vibrations for our president-elect, whose guiding mantra, very important to know, his guiding mantra in life is service is the rent that we pay for the space we occupy on this earth. Over to you, President-elect Shekhar.
Thanks, Haresh. Thank you very much. Thanks for that introduction and thanks for your friendship. It's been a pleasure knowing you and working with you for Rotary. And hello, my dear Changemaker Governor-elect and Changemaker President-elect. A very good morning to each of you on a wonderful Sunday. It's 10:30 in the night at Kolkata, where I am now very happy to address the stripes of District 7280, 7305, and 7360. I would have much liked to be with all of you in person, shook hands with you, maybe had some coffee with you, chatted, discussed things, but this is how we meet now. These are challenging times, but we are change makers, and we will change all of this. Presidents-elect, the forthcoming period is going to be one of the most exciting period of your life. 31 years back, Rashi and I took this journey as president of my Rotary Club. And I can tell you, it was one of the best years I've had in my life. Very recently, the Rotary magazine took an interview of me and asked me, which job would you like to do more, the president of a Rotary Club or the president of Rotary International? And I said, president of a Rotary Club, because I am with you, 180 of the presidents-elect who are here. I think there is no greater opportunity for hands-on service, inspiring a small group of people, leading them to really do good in this world and serve to change lives. So change makers, what is it that we're going to do in the forthcoming period? We will do more and grow more. Grow more as in getting more members. I remember 20 years back when I was the district governor, the membership of Rotary was at 1.2 million. 10 years later, when I was invited to be the director of Rotary International, the membership was still at 1.2 million. And 10 years from then, when I was invited to be the president of Rotary, the membership was still at 1.2 million. Cannot 1.2 million of us get together and by the end of our year, which is 30th June 2022, can we not push that figure to 1.3 million? tall task, crazy dream? Well, I think if we want to do some real great stuff, it's not data that we need to look at. We have to dream big. It is the same organization which dreamt of eradicating a disease. And mind you, we are this close doing that. Was that not a crazy thought 35 years back to think that we'll eradicate a disease when before that only one disease had ever been eradicated? So with the same thought, why can we not reach out to 1.3 million? And let me show you how easy it is. You may find it difficult because for the last 17 years it has been that, and we are expecting to change that in the 17 months. Well, the vaccine for polio took 28 years to make. The vaccine for Ebola took just 4 years to make, and the vaccine for COVID has taken only 9 months. What took 18 years can also be achieved in 9 months. It is possible, friends. Let's just do it with a simple act. Each one bring one. I can tell you, I've asked this question around the world and the response has been just amazing. And I'm buoyed by the fact that whether it was in Japan or Australia, America or UK, South Africa, Africa, South America, Europe, Asia, India, anywhere, when I ask the question today I ask you the same question in the next 16 months, how many of you will be able to get just one member into Rotary? Just one member. You want to raise your hands? Not that I'll be able to see your hands. Unfortunately, I cannot see them. But if you raise your hands and commit that you will get just one member into Rotary, I would request you to go back and ask the same question to every member in your club. And the secret of success will be to ensure with a follow-up with each of these members who have raised their hand that yes, with a polite reminder, remember on that day you had raised your hand, would you want to now get that member into the club? I promise you, if we can take this message to each and every Rotarian in our club, at the end of 30th June 2022, our membership will be at 1.3 million. As we get these people into our clubs, let's ensure that there are younger members also, and there are women Rotarians also. That's because our society needs to reflect, our Rotary clubs need to reflect what's in our society. The gender balance at our society is nearly 50-50. Should it not be the same with Rotary clubs? The Rotary average is only at 24/76. Can we change that? Can we start moving towards equal? It is possible, friends. Let's do that. And as we get these people in from the front gate, let us ensure the exit gate is shut. And how will we do that? Let's engage everyone. An engaged Rotarian is going to remain a Rotarian. A person who's not engaged will leave Rotary. And we aren't taking all this effort of each one bring one just to let them go back. No, that'll be a disservice to the organization. We need to bring them and get them engaged. And I can tell you, it is possible absolutely to engage even in these times of the pandemic. In fact, I feel the pandemic gives us an amazing opportunity to engage even better. For example, I was yesterday at 5 different Zoom calls from the morning till the evening. In the morning, I was in America. Then I went off to western part of India in Bombay. A little later, I was in the southern tip of India. And again, in the evening, I was in England. I was speaking to 3 districts there. And the last meet I had was for the pets in America. In one day, I could connect with nearly 700 or 800 Rotarians across the world. But for the virtual world, this would not have been possible. And this virtual world has been brought to us by the pandemic. Let's take the good things that this pandemic is bringing us. And the virtual connectivity, engagement of people is what has become so easy. My own Rotary Club, with just 90 members, it organized a meeting about 8 months back, and we had 2,400 people at a regular weekly meeting on the virtual world. In person, we would not have so many people coming to a meeting throughout the year. So let's engage. We can engage people who are not coming to the club. We can engage young people. It can be a huge attraction for young people. Even while they're working from home, they can find half an hour, 45 minutes to come to that Zoom call where they'll connect with people from across the world. Wow, I'm sure it's going to excite them. So let's each one bring one and retain all. And then some of the clubs may be in a position to start another club. So the district governors elect, I'll say, how about starting different flexible clubs, cause-based clubs? I'm aware back home there is a club which is promoting art, culture. So who are their members? Artists, singers, painters, sculptors. And they are in the cause of promoting art. There is another group based out of the virtual world which is working for wash projects. They are passionate about working on wash projects. They can work at any place. The world is their playfield as far as doing the projects is concerned. You could start satellite clubs, passport clubs, global clubs. Flexibility is the call of the day. And let me tell you, I'll put my money on virtual clubs. That's what the future is going to be. Our initial e-clubs may not have been as successful as we wanted, but I can assure you the virtual clubs are what the future is going to be. I've already asked my club to become a hybrid club. How about 2 meetings in person and 2 meetings virtually? Or maybe every meeting is a hybrid meeting with part of the meeting being in person and being beamed virtually also. So friends, if we do all of these three, each one bring one, retain all, and grow membership through new clubs, I can assure you this grow more will help us to do more. Do more as in service projects. Our organization's motto is service above self. And we all want to serve. We want to help other people. I joined Rotary when I was only 25 years old. Service was the last thing on my mind. I didn't even know what the problems of other people or the needs of other people were. I was comfortable in life. I was born with a silver spoon and things were very fine with me till my Rotary Club one day took me about 50 kilometers away from my city, from my home. And that's when I understood what the issues, what the plight of other people around the world was. Friends, these houses in that village, they did not have toilets. So they bathed in ponds wherefrom they got the drinking water also. The only school in that village was under the tree, and if there was one teacher, if the teacher did not come, there was no class. If it rained, there were no class. If it was too hot and sunny, there were no classes. The black charcoal painted wall was the only blackboard these children had seen. And I realized that day, there are two parts in this world. Half where there is abundance and half where there is huge need. You and I, Rotarians, act as redistributing people. People, you and I act as clearing houses. We want to take from places where there is and try to bring it to places where there isn't. Even today, friends, there are tens of thousands of villages where there is parched land and no fresh, clean drinking water. How about going and sinking some borewells in their areas? There are areas where there are no good medical facilities. Let's say in Nepal, how about going and ensuring cardiac heart surgeries for little children? I've personally worked on this program of Gift of Life or Saving Little Hearts. Friends, for months at end, for nearly 3 years, every day that I entered my office, I would find 1 or 2 children with their parents sitting there. And I understood they had come for heart surgery. Not one of these parents earned enough that even if they saved every penny that they earned for the next 3 years, which is never possible, so they would maybe spend only half the money, it would take them 6 years in savings to get the heart surgery done for their child. But the child won't live that long. And that's when Rotary Club comes in and says, okay, we'll do the heart surgery. Imagine what joy it brings to them. It changes their lives absolutely. One act of service to one child and a family's life is changed absolutely. One cataract surgery for an elderly lady who cannot see changes her life. One artificial limb put to somebody who's lost both his legs. He comes crawling into the center where we fit two artificial limbs to that person, and he walks back on his feet. I tell you, tears start rolling down his cheek when he takes those hesitant steps after 2 years because he's not been walking for 2 years. Friends, these are acts that we keep doing. And I'm sure many of you have experienced these acts of service anywhere. Whether it is educating children, whether it is taking care of their health or taking care of health of elderly, or ensuring economic and community development for the youthful people. Friends, you and I serve to change lives. Even as you do this, next year, let the overarching theme be empowering girls. Even in today's times, friends, across the world, there is a discrimination with girls. They are either discriminated against or they are disadvantaged. How about taking a step to making them, by removing this disadvantage that they have, or by removing this discrimination that they have? It's possible, doing various things. How about ensuring that they do not drop out of schools? In India, the literacy rate of enrollment of children is at 96%. But by the time these children reach class 10, nearly 40% of them drop out of school, and the majority of these are girls. How about providing them things like solar lanterns, because they have no electricity at their homes in Africa. When they come back, they'll find 2 hours extra to be able to study at home because there are solar lanterns. Their to and fro to school becomes so much more easy if it's dark already by the time they come back. These are small acts, but these are life-changing acts that we do. How about training them under menstrual hygiene management? I've been talking to people and encouraging more and more people to use reusable sanitary pads. A set of 5 such reusable pads, which is approved by UNICEF and is being used world over and is absolutely safe and extremely eco-friendly. Friends, it costs only $3. How about going to 2 African countries and trying to explain to them the advantages? Not only is it safe for them, it is also so eco-friendly. There are so many other things that we could do for girls, skill them to be able to earn their own livelihood. There is a lot we can do, friends. This world is waiting for you to go out there and help them out. You may not find all these opportunities necessarily in your own surroundings, because everything is maybe done by the government. If there is a need, first do it in your community. But if you don't have any needs in your community, how about 5, 10 of your clubs coming together and doing a project maybe in one of the African countries? And I tell you, on a strategic basis, if you work there for 3 to 4 years' time, you could make a difference and play a role in the nation building of that country. And I'm telling you by experience. India is a large country, but Rotary is playing a positive role in the nation building process as far as a big country like India is concerned. We are doing this in literacy. We are ready to do 10% of the work of the government of India in building check dams, in rejuvenating water bodies. These are tall tasks, but if planned strategically, it's absolutely possible. For we are that organization which has strategically planned and worked on one single project for 35 years, and look where we are. What a huge success it is. So it's possible for us to do that. And even as we do all of this, let us share this wonderful stories of our work with the rest of the world. It's important that we share the story. And how? So simple, on social media. Each one of us, the 193 of us, each one of us is a brand ambassador of Rotary. If we do something good, Or if anybody else in Rotary is doing good, how about sharing this with the rest of the world? You know, we Rotarians are very good at telling our story, but we tell it to ourselves. We need to start telling to the outside world. And for that, we're going to have those Rotary Days of Service. So 2 clubs come together and do these Rotary Days of Service. One outstanding project, maybe for women on 8th March next year, or on 8th September, World Literacy Day. How about coming together and doing projects of literacy? Friends, let's make an impact in the community. Let's invite non-Rotarians to such events and showcase the good work that we are doing. So let me conclude by telling, we are going to grow more by getting each one bring one. We will retain all. We'll get new clubs started. We'll do projects of a national scale, maybe in our community or maybe in another different community. Friends, all of this is absolutely possible because we are going to be the change makers. Let me end with this small poem that I had penned for the theme for this year. It goes like this: the biggest gift we are given is the power to touch a life, to change, to make a difference in the circle of life. If we can reach out with our hand, heart, and soul, the magic will begin to happen as the wheel begins to roll. Let us turn the wheel together so all humanity thrives. We have the power and the magic to serve, to change lives. Thank you.
There it goes. All right, President Shekhar, thank you so much. I certainly appreciate the stories that you're telling. And I think maybe that's one of the key points is that you're not just giving us numbers or items, you're relating them through stories, which is critical to getting people to understand where we are. Let me ask quickly about your theme, which is Serve to Change Lives. How did that come about? Why did you select that? Why is that so personal to you? And as you get ready to answer that, let me remind people that the Q&A box is open. So if you have questions for President-elect Shekhar, please put those in there. But why Serve to Change Lives?
Jim, it wasn't very difficult. The guiding mantra of my life is service is the rent I pay for the space I occupy on this earth. And Jim, I want to be a good tenant of this earth. So naturally, I want to serve. So in a year when I can ask others to do the same that I am trying to do all my life, I wanted them to serve. So I asked them to serve. And what happens when you serve? You change lives. No rocket science. This was very easy to do. And we did it in about half an hour's time. And I'm very happy we did that. Anybody who thought about what theme I would give knew the word service would definitely be there. Service, I think serve is better than service because serve is calling to action.
Great, thank you. Let me ask you about the presidential citation or the Rotary citation as it's known this year. You opted to make it the club themselves could select the goals that they have to meet. Why did you do that?
Again, no rocket science. I did not reinvent the wheel. This has now become the process to do so. And I think it's good. The clubs are autonomous. I can only show them a map. They need to walk there. All I have asked is each one bring one. And when you are doing service projects, let us focus on empowering girls. These are the only 2 things I ask. The rest, share your stories with others, etc., is a very normal thing. We should do that. So I'm asking only these 2 things. The rest, you decide on what your club wants to do. That is the Rotary citation.
Great, thank you. We have a question. Who asked you to join Rotary and what were the circumstances?
A friend of mine, he and I were in the car. I was driving and he asked, Shekhar, will you join Rotary? My answer was yes. That's because I had seen both my parents were very active at Lions. I'd seen the good work that Lions do for many years. I'd seen that. And I knew Rotary also did equally good work. So when I was asked, I joined. So the art is ask. And all I'm asking is next year, each one of us ask and then ensure that that person comes to Rotary. Who knows, you may be stopping one guy from becoming the president of Rotary International itself by not asking him or not to come in. Do ask.
Thank you. You mentioned early on about the fact that we're not meeting together. We're not in person. We're doing it virtually at this point. You were the first Rotary International president-elect to have an international assembly that was done virtually. What did you find to be the challenges to doing that, and maybe what opportunities did you get because it was a virtual meeting?
So challenge, of course, was that I missed to meeting people. I would have loved to be meeting each and every district governor elect, shaking hands with them, maybe just chatting for a minute or two, because that's, I think, the maximum we would have been able to get there. But here there is a greater opportunity. I'm going to meet them 4 or 5 times during the year over Zoom calls. The takeaway from the International Assembly was, for example, the speeches that came, each of the speeches that I had to give, we could present great visuals, which does not happen when the in-person speeches are relayed to the rest of the world. Mind you, only 2,000 people are present at that hall where the speech is shown. But when it is put up on internet, at least 200,000 people see it. But those visuals do not become as good as the visuals, because this one was created only for people to see on the virtual world. That was a takeaway. And I think the breakout sessions were a great takeaway. Lesser number of people in the rooms and great interaction, more time being spent by the people, because there were half the number of people in the room in comparison to in person. So there are takeaways, yet I would definitely want that we meet in person. We need a hybrid world. And to me, the future is all hybrid.
Thank you. Question from Carol, which is, we heard you have 2 children and a grandchild. Did you manage to take your children on your Rotary journey? How did that occur?
Oh, yes. They have been a part of our Rotary journey. So long time back, when my son became the prefect of his school, and he was also the Interact chairman, we were invited on his day of installation. And both Rashi and I were sitting there, and my son started his speech. 3 to 4 minutes into the speech, both Rashi and I were looking at each other and smiling. Here he was, Rashi felt this was junior Shekhar giving that speech. He had the same thought process as I had about service, about helping people, about humanity, etc. So if you do good things and people around you see it, they do tend to at times emulate it, at times imbibe it. I'm happy while these children have not become members of Rotary clubs, but I'm very aware that they are Rotarians at heart, and someday they too will become Rotarians.
Thank you. You mentioned diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, as the acronym is for Rotary at this point. How do we accomplish that? How do we, as club members, how do we make that happen in our local clubs?
Well said, Jim. Let's start. I said, let's start it with the recruitment of membership. We need to have diversity in our clubs, and our clubs' diversity should be reflective of the diversity in our society. So let's look at diversity, whether it's of religion, ethnicity, sex, gender, sexual orientation. So all of this age, all of this diversity, we will need to have to make a conscious effort for a few years, and thereafter it will become a very natural process. And let me tell you, it will all start at the club.
Thank you. You mentioned you think we're going hybrid as continuing on, but overall, where is Rotary 5 years from now? Where as a president-elect, you have incredible insight as to what's coming down the pike as far as the personalities that are involved in Rotary. Where would you see Rotary being in 3 to 5 years from now?
In 5 years' time, I see Rotary having made the world polio free. Within 5 years' time, I see Rotary having been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for the program that we have done for polio eradication. Within 5 years' time, I see a far greater percentage of women, maybe hovering around 30-32% women members in our Rotary clubs. I also see our membership growing because 1.3 million is the target that I'm setting. And I tell you, once we succeed in that, success is going to become a habit with us. Also, the fact that we are empowering and elevating the Rotaractors, it's only a matter of time when, because they are also a type of membership, our membership of Rotary and Rotaract will be considered together as the total membership, which means we should be at around, in a few years' time, we should be at 1.5 million. These are some of the easy things that I could tell you. And in 5 years' time, because we would have eradicated polio, we should be looking at the next big project that Rotary is going to embark on. So we would have taken care of membership and we would be ready for the next big challenge.
Do we get a small respite after polio before we jump into the next big project?
Sure. Tell me something, who needs that respite? America has seen the last case of polio, God knows how many years. The new generation may not even know what polio is. So the only thing that we have done in more than half the world, as far as polio is concerned, is either talked about it or made a contribution to it, which is very, very essential. So I don't think there is a fatigue. Okay, can only be a fatigue about the request for contribution each and every year, but we make small contribution to polio in comparison to the total giving that we do. And yet we are this close to eradicating polio. The moment a new thought comes out, let me tell you, we will be rejuvenated, reinvigorated, and that new thought isn't going to come like this. It'll take a little time. We'll have to take a decision on it. And probably it will take another 3-4 years, beyond 5 years to start. We will only start thinking 5 years later what to do next. Maybe we will not do any single project. Maybe we'll focus and strengthen our 7 areas of focus. We don't know.
Speaking of the 7 areas of focus, the newest one, of course, is climate change that was just announced recently. In part of our discussion yesterday with Rotary Director Stephanie was the fact that even with President Risley's program to plant trees, we didn't do a good job telling the world about that afterwards, what the benefits were to planting trees. So as we move into climate, how do we do a better job of making sure that people understand what Rotary is doing and more importantly, why it's important to them and to the world?
So I'll tell you, first, it's not climate change, it's protecting the environment. It can be, so it's a little different. So I agree, we may not have done a great job, but it's in our hands. Who's going to tell the world that I planted 5,000 trees in my district? I will need to tell that. So one of the districts, for example, in India this year agreed that they will plant, that district is going to plant 1.2 million trees in their district. Why? Because they wanted to plant 1 tree in the name of dedicating it to every Rotarian in the world. So Jim, you can be happy to know there is 1 tree in that district, 3250, planted in your name. Vicky, you can know there is 1 for you. And Haresh, don't worry, there is 1 for you also. Now it's for Haresh to go today, tweet, District 3250 is planting 1.2 million trees, 1 for every Rotary club. You tweet it, I'll retweet it. Jim will retweet it with a comment. We need to tell the story to the others. And that's just one example. Any good deed that we do, we need to tell the world. It's extremely important. And I feel, Jim, I'll be very happy one day when I send a message, let's say on WhatsApp, a nice story on WhatsApp, and 15 days later, it comes back to me from a non-Rotarian, which means it has traveled to the outside world and then come back to me, rather than we telling our story to ourselves only.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we're very good at telling our stories to ourselves. And in light of that, also, we have the Rotary Service Day, Rotary Day of Service coming up. That's really designed to get clubs to work together and then to do a project that invites the rest of the community into it. Okay.
Yes.
Do you have any advice for clubs on how to put that together, or ideas on things that they should be looking at to make sure that their project is effective in getting the message out to the rest of the community?
So I'll tell you, if you find there is a need in your community, do it. If you find there is no need in your community to do a project, how about organizing a seminar and discussing on empowering girls maybe? So invite people, get some eminent people from your own town, city who come and speak, and there is a Rotarian also who speaks, and then maybe come to a discussion. What is it that you can do to remove that discrimination and empowering girls in your area? And even then, suppose seminar may be done by 2, 3, 4, 5 clubs together. But what about the other clubs? Okay, if you don't have enough things to be done in your area, how about sponsoring a small project, maybe not even through global grant, but maybe direct funding, or giving them ideas. Maybe you're doing it in Africa, and how about getting all your friends to a meeting and showcasing that project on a virtual world to all the people who are sitting at your meeting, and in the virtual world, you are showing them the project that is happening in Africa. Different things can be done. You can use, maybe on the International Literacy Day, you could take up a dictionary project. You could take a book reading program. Depends on what is the need in your area, or where can you find one place in the world where you want to showcase the work.
Yeah, and I will mention to you that even in this area, the United States, Western Pennsylvania into Maryland and West Virginia, literacy is still a huge problem. There are a lot of illiterate folks in these areas, and they're sort of hidden below the surface. We don't see them all the time, but they are there.
So good, Jim. I would suggest, how about identifying who these people are? How about doing a survey by the volunteers, by the Rotarians of that area, and finding out, drawing up a list, and you will find maybe there are 200 of them. How about taking literacy classes for them? You cannot do a better project in your community than this, and then take pictures of those classrooms. If they agree, share it with others. People in other parts of America also will understand that these are projects that can be done. I was surprised, I'll tell you, on the 100th year of Rotary, 23rd of February 2005, I was in the US as a training leader in Anaheim. And that day, half the day we worked for Rotary, and the rest half we went to a food factory where we packed food for people who did not get food. I was surprised that in America you needed a food factory, but that's the truth. So there is ample opportunity for everyone to work in every part of the world.
And then just one last question to you as we get into global grants. You talk about projects that we can do right here locally, but there's also a huge amount of good that can be done through the global grant project. They tend to take a little bit longer to get them organized and completed, but they do really make a difference in the world. And so I just want to get your feelings on how do we do a better job of getting involved in the global projects that are out there?
So you do one thing, take the email ID from Haresh, write to me, and I'll tell you, my own club does, at any given time, it has 10 open global grants. And that's because that's the limit. That's the highest number you can do. So, and it's very easy, If you want to do a project there, Jim, I'll get you a partner from India to do a project in America. If you want to do a project in Africa, I'll get you a partner from India to do that project along with you in Africa. If you want to do that project in India, you can be the international partner, and I'll get you a host club in India. 3 choices. You make choices, and I'll get you as many partners in India, in Africa, wherever you wish to do. That's my way of straight, not just telling you it's possible, even showing you the way it will be possible. If you do 2 or 3 grants, you will be able to tell your district how these are to be done. They are extremely easy, such an effective way of doing things, and what great results come out of these global grants. Amazing, amazing results.
President-elect Shekhar, I thank you so much for spending your time with us. Haresh, I will turn it back over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you, President-elect Shekhar. Wow, you gave us a lot to unpack, a lot to think about. And I know our presidents-elect and those on the call must have been making a lot of notes. They're definitely gonna digest what's been shared. And I think we're gonna have a great year ahead. So thank you so much. Great ideas you shared. Thank you so much. All right, friends.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
See you. Bye-bye.
Take care, President-elect Shekhar.